Now, if I haven't made my point clear yet, in order for a solid Bond villain to be kind of a force of nature, he's gotta have presence. He has to walk into the room and immediately you know this person is not to be trifled with. And if the villain is too goofy, it can run the risk of not being particularly imposing, and you can't really take him seriously depending on the tone of the movie. Well, the same goes for when the villain is just some guy. This latter point is definitely the problem with Kristatos. Now, I think the thing that does help elevate him above the prior examples, first and foremost, is the charismatic performance of Julian Glover. It also helps that the story sets him up to be an ally in the beginning, as he tries to manipulate Bond into killing his rival, Columbo. Glover handles this particular aspect of the character with almost effortless efficiency. It's also a plus that when the time comes, Kristatos definitely has no problem throwing himself into it when he had to, particularly in the climax in the monastery. However, the major problem with him is that in order for him to sell us on the possibility of him being an ally, he had to sell us on the fact that he's just a guy. And this is how we see him for half the movie, which on a storytelling level makes for a great bait and switch, but when it comes to making an intimidating villain that's meant to leave an impression, not so much. When Kristatos turns the villain gear on, he just comes off as a pissed-off father figure or a perturbed yuppie. And in most other movies that's fine, but this is Bond. There's a high standard to which these villains need to be measured. Bond has faced off with people who hollow out volcanoes with the aim of starting World War III. After those, a drug smuggler masquerading as a philanthropist and benefactor of a promiscuous figure skater, whose endgame is really just to profit by selling an encoding device to the Russians, is admittedly peanuts by comparison. While For Your Eyes Only is great for a slew of reasons, you can't really say that Kristatos is one of them.